Good day and welcome to Consumer Thursdays, brought to you by the Consumer Council of Missouri. We are here today with, of course, our producer behind the scenes, Mr. Antonio Weston, and with a very, very special guest, young lady I've known for probably 20 years. First met her when I was working in some disadvantaged neighborhoods across the city of St. Louis, as she was. She's had a stellar career, to say the least, in the financial services industry. And I say stellar, I mean stellar. The awards, numerous awards, too many to mention, because if I start talking about all the different awards, we'll take up all the time. But for performance or commitment to the community, just to name a few, have been outstanding, and she's been recognized for those. And we're grateful for that, because she is truly a community advocate, and like myself and like the Consumer Council of Missouri, is here to level the playing field for disadvantaged businesses and communities throughout the 10 states. I thought it was just one or two.
Yep.
But 10 states,
yes,
that the company she is affiliated with, called AltCap, and she reminded me there's no S on there, AltCap, which we'll talk more about and tell you about the services and programs they provide for businesses throughout the community. With that, I want to introduce Ms. Tasha Pettis.
Thank you. Thank you for such kind words.
Thank you, Ms. Pettis. They're true. I wish I could say that, but I didn't have to say it, but they're very true. I'm just speaking the truth. Your commitment to the community, I know your commitment to us who were working in disadvantaged communities back in the mid-2000s was outstanding. Your commitment to seeing that we had what we needed to ensure that we were able to improve the quality of life of those residents was outstanding.
Thank you.
And we're very grateful for that.
Thank you. I'm grateful for the opportunity.
All right. Tell us a little bit about AltCap and what its history, mission, vision is. And I know some people probably not heard of AltCap.
AltCap is a CDFI, which is a community development financial institution.
Okay.
It's based out of Kansas City. And as you said, we cover several states, primarily Midwest, from Indiana to Illinois, Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and then southern to Texas and California.
Wow. Okay.
And our primary focus is in small business.
Okay.
So working with disadvantaged small business owners. So Black and brown, lower to moderate income neighborhoods,
right,
trying to, as you stated already, even that playing field, and provide them with not only the capital that's available, but also a lot of the financial education that's necessary for them to receive the capital, but in addition to that, to be successful as business owners.
We found that so important, is the educational piece of it. And when I say we, when myself and several other individuals, we had a Minority Contractor Initiative program, and we found the education and financial literacy when it came to business practices was really key to their success and survival. And we worked very diligently with them. So tell me a little bit about how AltCap, provides that support, quote, support services.
It's great. That's a great question. So the business support services team that I lead with AltCap is new to the organization.
Okay.
When I joined them a couple of years ago, one of the things I do whenever I join an organization is, first I look at what their strengths are, then I assess what their areas of opportunity are, and then based on my skill set from the past 30 years in the work, how can I help close some of the gaps? One of the biggest opportunities that we had at AltCap was we were declining a lot of people, and that was it. We were declining them, and you know how people are when they get declined. They go about their way. We may not see them or talk to them again.
Absolutely.
And so I wanted the opportunity to spend time with those business owners and really provide them with an explanation around the decline, but then the tools and resources to try to assist them in getting loan ready. And sometimes when you work for an organization, and this has been true of my entire career, they don't see that as relevant. They don't see that right away as necessary in the work, because there are so many people that you can focus on that's going to get, approved. Well, the communities that you and I came from, You give us the information, you give us the education, and we're going to try to get better. We're going to try to become exactly what's needed. And so, one full year, I sat back and kind of watched. Sometimes the proof is in them seeing what he could do, right? So last year was our first telltale year where we're actually truly managing the data and interpreting the data. And so we realized that we had over 2,500 applications and we closed less than 10% of those.
Wow. Okay. That's significant.
Significant. So then what did those other 2,300 business owners do? They went and applied somewhere else. They either closed shop, they lost focus on their dreams, they walked away, whatever the case may be. What I wanted to do was help AltCap become a leader in the CDFI space and providing the education that's necessary.
I think that's so critical because so many of the small business owners that we realize and we work with, and I know that you experience this too, that business owner is a jack of all trades. He's the marketer, the accountant, the foreman, job site foreman, et cetera, et cetera. So he's doing it all.
Yes.
I mean, and for him to sometimes sit down and actually process, he's got a dream, he's got a vision, and it's a great one. Many times it's a great one.
Right.
And he's got a vision, but for him to sit down and understand, quote, backroom operations, how to make a relationship or build a relationship with a organization such as AltCap, which is critical, can lead to more business and success.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I had my first experience with really looking at things through the lens of the entrepreneur when I was at the Urban League Women's Business Center.
Yes.
I had the opportunity to build out a curriculum then, and that curriculum is called Ready, Set, Launch, and it's still active today. Okay. They've done, they've taken and perfected it. But what I wanted to do was think about, if I'm the business owner and I'm extremely good at this space, who in my ecosystem do I need to support me?
Right.
Because I can't be the jack of all trades. Right. I have to recognize what my strengths are, and I have to build relationships with those who can help close my gap. So that means trust, that means understanding. And so I challenge people all the time, even things as simple as business planning. I see so many people that are willing to pay somebody to write their business plan. But you still need to know the business plan as a business owner, right? So how do we
I think that's critical. I think that's important.
So how do we take that business owner and put them at the center and surround them with all these tools and resources, and then help them manage that, how they're accessing those, and how are they tracking their own success? And so even fast forward to a few years ago, working with Maryville University on their entrepreneurship leadership development program, help write some curriculum for them. But I wanted it to be strictly from the mindset of the entrepreneur, not from the bankers, because oftentimes a lot of the workshops that you see, it's geared towards what the bankers, see, because we want to get people loan ready. Right. This gives us a glimpse of understanding what are those barriers that the business owners have. Right. How do we get them to slow down and become more self-aware of what their gaps are? So then they can, your self-discovery, say, I need to pay for an accountant. Right. I need to properly track my numbers. Right. I need a tax specialist.
That used to be so amazing, because one of the things we used to ask a business owner, we say, well, what's your cost of operations per day? And you'd be amazed at the ones that couldn't tell us. That, when we say, well, how do you competitively bid on a project if you don't know what your cost of operations are on a daily basis? I would think that you would want to know that number so that you would at minimum cover your costs on a daily basis.
And how do you come up with how you price things, right? Yeah. I had a gentleman right now that I'm working with in the Kansas City market. And one of the things I love about my role is that eventually the goal is to get them loan ready. Yes. But most importantly, my goal today is to create a strong business owner so they can be aware and equipped with everything. And I love the fact that AltCap in this role allows me the patience to do this, because it's a lender, right? Their mindset could be, we need you kicking loans out. But that's not my focus. My focus is really to strengthen that small business owner, which is a testament to where they've come from within a very short period of time. So this particular gentleman, he when he first came to us, he said, I have $170,000 loan that I'm going to apply for. I'm going to be selling some pies,
Okay.
Meat pies, almost like pot pies.
Okay.
So I need 170,000. I need to be able to buy some trucks, buy this, buy that. After the third conversation with me, his number became 30,000.
Okay.
So he realized through our conversations,
Yes.
am I really ready to take on with just little things I'm giving him to do?
Right.
Because it's easy for me to tell him, you're not ready for 170,000.
No.
Now here's what's interesting. He could have probably applied for a loan for 100,000. He has a full-time job.
Okay.
He has the credit score. He has a house that he could use for collateral. He could probably qualify for a loan.
Yes.
But would it have been the right thing with him thinking he needed $100,000 to make pot pies? So fast forward to him coming down to 30,000. That's fine. Let's build your business plan based on 30,000. He called me back and he said, you know what? I realized I don't even know how to price the pies. He said, now that I'm getting into the detail of buying the goods, making the pies, partnering with one place, and getting the pies in and seeing how they sell, I'm not quite sure if I even need a 30,000.
Wow.
I just met with him again last week.
Okay.
And I threw a test question out there to him. I said, so do you think you're ready for 10,000? He said, Miss Tasha, let me keep learning.
Oh, wow.
I said,
It says he's not ready to take on any
Yes,
loan yet.
he wasn't ready
until
to-
he's ready to
Yes.
totally understand his
exactly,
business and
exactly.
operation.
And I told him, I said, your mindset within, and we've only been meeting since March.
Okay.
Now, once again, we could have done the loan, but would have really been what was best for him.
Well, let me ask you a question. Now, you talk that he's a startup. He's a startup. Now, you work with existing businesses as well?
Yes. we
Okay.
do.
So small business, disadvantaged businesses, you work with them as well?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Throughout.
And
Go ahead.
although our mission is Black and Brown and low-income communities,
Yes.
we still service people throughout those states.
Okay.
People find us. We're not going
Right.
to say, oh, you're white. We're not going to do your loan for you. We're going to give you the same level of service that we do.
Fantastic.
But our specific marketing
Yes.
and the rooms that we're sitting in is in the spaces where we're trying to encourage and motivate.
Well, mostly in
Black and
distressed areas.
Yes.
Mostly in distressed communities throughout those 10 states that you work in.
Yes.
So that's what you do. So for those listening who have a business, consider starting a business, this might be a great resource for you because at minimum you can probably get educated. You'll probably get educated if you don't, even if you don't pursue a loan, or if you do pursue a loan, which we hope that you do with, or consider AltCap as an alternative lending source when you're starting your business.
Yes.
Business come in, you talked about credit worthiness, and you talked about personal finance, et cetera. Now, I would assume most of these companies that come in are LLCs, am I correct? Limited liability corporations and or corporations. So they're applying, or you applying, they're applying through their business, correct?
Yes.
Okay. But AltCap looks at the person as well as the business
Absolutely.
and its capacity to run the business, operate the business, and
It's a
or
combination.
combination of
Yes.
all. Okay.
And it's not just an AltCap thing. It really is a sound decision in any financial institution.
Okay.
You think about it. If your personal credit and your personal life is running amok, are you going to be that dedicated to this craft? You know.
Right.
And I remember a guy some years ago. I best put it to him because he, of course, was angry that he declined. You know, I filed bankruptcy and I put all this into this business, and I need a business loan to get myself my foot. I said, but if you lost your home where you live, then what will make us think that you wouldn't walk away from a $250,000 loan? You lost the
Absolutely.
home where you sleep, where your family, where your children are.
Right.
I said, so I'm not telling you no forever. The no is today. Let's work on X, Y, and Z to get you on the right pathway, though. You know, needless to say, a few years after then, he was able to get approved for a loan.
Wow, great.
And that's the thing, people's willingness to be patient, people's willingness to listen and learn, because sometimes we think about small business loans as something we need right now, today.
Right.
I need it today. And if I
Okay.
can't get it today, then
Well,
I'm
you
gonna
know,
fail.
what you find is so many contractors who don't have, at least from my experience, that don't have the reserves, and they're able to get a job with state and local government, and all of a sudden they've got payroll to make every 2 weeks. So now the problem is they got 10,000, just to use a number. I got $10,000 in payroll to make 2 weeks from now, but I'm not going to get paid on my invoice for 60 days. Sometimes 90 days, depending upon who you're working with. So, and I may have the $10,000, but I may not have the $20,000 or $30,000 I need to cover payroll for the next 2 months.
Right.
So what do I do?
We have a loan program geared towards contractors and subcontractors.
Oh, fantastic.
And it's called AltCap.
Fantastic.
And the idea is you get a contract.
Yes.
You need to fund that contract. You need the equipment. You need the working capital, et cetera, to get yourself started.
Okay, St. Louis contractors, you hear this? St. Louis contractors.
This is one of our underutilized programs.
You hear
at AltCap.
this?
It is so underutilized.
You hear this because in my experience in working with contractors, subcontractors, I mean, that was one of the challenges that they encountered.
Yeah.
To the extent at that time, because there were, and maybe still exist today, MBE, WBE requirements on each, quote, federal job or state and local job. The general contractor, in order to meet those requirements, would advance funds to the subcontractor.
Right.
So you're familiar with that too. But now you're saying they can come to AltCap and build a relationship with AltCap.
Yes.
And then if they are able to demonstrate the capacity and awareness to fulfill their obligations, then they can come back to you again and again and again.
So if you get a contract, and this loan program is geared towards, it's a short-term loan.
Yeah.
The goal is not to have you, originally borrow for 5 years on a loan that you're going to get paid back on the 6 months. It's to close that gap. So you come to us, credit score 600, no liens.
Right.
Please pay your stuff. You don't come to us if you got liens out there.
Right.
We want quality business owners that just need that lift, right? Please have your tax returns. Right. If the loan is over a certain amount, have your documents in order. That's the biggest thing.
That's the biggest challenge.
Yes.
It's the biggest challenge for so many small contractors. And like I said before, they just don't have that backroom operation. They've got a great task. They got a great vision. They do great work, but they don't have what we used to refer to as that backroom. That's that accountant. That's that the bookkeeper. That's that person who's taking calls, returning calls, because so many times that business owner, we find, like I said before, he's a jack of all trades.
Yep.
He's doing it all, and he's burning the midnight oil.
And let us find that person to refer you to.
Right.
So that's the
so
thing.
important. So important. Some quality person who's got credibility.
Who's got credibility.
Who's got familiarity with the processes.
Yes.
That's required. Because sometimes, Davis Bacon comes into play. So you got to,
And someone who's going to give you quality advice, Another thing that we see oftentimes is people come to us for loans and they have negative cash flow based on their tax returns. They took a loss every single year. Well, if you're taking a loss, how are we supposed to believe that you can pay our loan back? So I have a friend, she jokes. She says that on the years that she does not need a loan, that's how she has her accountant do her paperwork. So she can take the loss. And I'm like, don't tell me that, But she says when, she knows that she's going to need a new piece of equipment in a couple of years because she's, moving into this lane. Right. She says, show what I'll pay those taxes on whatever my, positive is. But I know I need to show it.
Well, that's okay. Okay. Well, that's something new.
Yeah. Now, here's something else.
In my experience working with businesses, we always took a loss. On paper.
Yes. A bank don't want to see you take a loss on paper.
Oh, okay.
We don't want
That's
to
good to
see it.
know. I
You
didn't
know,
know that. That's why,
they
you
will
go out and
add
buy
back.
that piece of equipment.
Yeah, they will add back certain
You
things,
can,
and
you can write back off that certain
yeah,
piece of equipment over a 12-month period, but you might finance it for 5 years.
yeah. But to get that financing, you have to show
Yeah,
that you're making positive money.
at the time I bought that equipment, I was.
Okay.
Okay.
And so with our, but with our build cap program, it really is underutilized, and it's for the reason we just mentioned. It's a great program,
Yes.
but how many contractors and subcontractors have all of that paperwork in order? So the time is now for like a program like the one I lead
Yes.
to come in front of St. Louis contractors and say, here's what we're looking for.
All right.
Here's the loan that you will get on the back end. So if you get your documents, here's the documents that we need. Here's some referrals so you can get this stuff prepared. As we start to see that, and it may not mean you get that contract funded today, but let's make you more prepared 6 months from now, a year from now. And another thing to consider, what I like about like our organization, is its flexibility in some of our underwriting. So let's say if you did get some bad advice and you did take a loss for the past 2 years on your tax returns. Well, I can sit down with the underwriter and say, let's take a look at what their cash flow
Right.
will do with this particular equipment they're looking to buy.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's get their financial statements from them on a quarterly basis
Okay.
and see the ebbs and flows and seeing if they're doing differently, spending differently, saving differently, et cetera. So we kind of try to be creative in the financing space, not always a strong decline that says, no, it's a no today, but let's help you get you where you need to be.
This is so much valuable information, particularly at this time, because with the economy the way it is, and I see more and more people going into business for themselves. And I think that's going to be the trend in the years to come. A lot of those, quote, federal type jobs, even give example, my father. My father was a mailman. He worked in the post office. But when I talked to the postmen today, they're temporary. They're not permanent. My dad was 38 years and permanent. I remember when he retired, he had like 3 years off with full pay because at that time you could accumulate sick leave and vacation and all that. They don't let you do that no more. Nowhere. But I recall, so I just see more and more people going into business, small business, service business. I mean, even you look at Amazon or you look at other businesses, people that are going into business and working for Amazon, but they got their own business. I mean, but they're project delivery or whatever. I don't know what term they call it. But I see more and more people going into business, whether it's selling goods or services or whatever it may be. So this just seems such an opportune time for people to first, as you said, understand what they need to maintain as far as financial records, as far as business records, as far as productivity, contracts, etc., so they can demonstrate to a potential lender as their business grows what they need to maintain. I think that's significant because a lot of people just don't know that.
Right.
Even busy people, I know people been in business 20 years. They have no idea.
Oh, yeah.
They run a successful business. I mean, very successful, very profitable business. But they like, well, I need an accountant.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know what I make on a monthly basis. I know what contracts I got. And we on the positive side of cash flow. We're good.
Yeah. And that would be perfect if we can have everybody like that.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, I do. And I mean, especially some of the older guys who I know have been in business for 40 years. Very successful.
Yeah. It's interesting too to see today. People always talk about a second and third stream of income.
Yes.
Those second and third streams of income can really make you more money than that first stream of income when you put in the scope of things. And so the best way that I tell, like my daughter, for instance, she's an aspiring chef. you've got to learn the business.
Right.
Now, she's been wanting to be a chef since she was 4 years old.
Oh, wow.
She's
Okay.
19 now in culinary school.
Good. Good
She's
for
got her first job as a head cook somewhere.
Good.
She's learning inventory,
Right.
not only ordering, but how do you manage inventory? How do you spend, properly use inventory? How do you manage? And so her first couple of weeks on the job, I know she's probably second guessing right now, like,
What am I
did I
doing?
say I want to
What
own
am
a
I
restaurant?
doing?
But what I love about her is that she's been around me and hear enough conversations
Right.
that she's going to get it right.
Oh, she's
We-
gonna get it right.
When we
She's
were
gonna get it right.
we were down in the city of St. Louis one day, and her and my other daughter saw this building, and my daughter said this could be a coffee house, and she, from other conversations, said, I don't think it'll pass a permit as a coffee house. It doesn't have, just looking into the building, we've got to decide where the kitchen would be, where the water source would come from, just little things like that. We got to get in touch with the city of St. Louis and see if this can even be commercially zoned, and
Right.
like just to hear
Yeah.
her just.
Yeah, that was the first thing. Does have the proper zoning.
Yes. I said, oh,
Right.
look at that baby girl paying attention to what mama's been doing her whole life.
I bet.
Yeah. But she's really, she's really smart. She's really patient. Even teaching her on how to price her pies that she sells, knowing when to mark up, how to mark up, not taking your pies from $10 to $18 just because that's the economy we're in.
Right.
But if so I say this to say, patience in getting loan ready is necessary. Honing in on your skill is one thing, knowing what you're extremely good at, but another thing that you have to do is build your team of resources around you that can support you and answer those questions because they're knowledgeable, not based on what they hear or what they think. They're knowledgeable and they can properly guide you,
Again, contractors, business owners, short-term loans available through AltCap. If needed, I would suggest contact them, find out more information. I know on their website, I think they have a financial quiz or that one could look at to determine if they are even ready to sit down and talk with someone at AltCap and find out. I mean, it's such a critical thing. I wish your daughter much success.
Thank you.
I owned, I was in my 20s, but that's a long time ago, but I owned a restaurant I ran a restaurant and bar, lounge, whatever you want to call it. A long time ago. And trust me, it's a lot of work.
Oh, man.
I had a full-time job. At that one time, I had one child. And I remember when I finally decided, okay, that's enough. And I went home and I looked at my daughter and I looked at her and I said, who is that? Huh? That was never home. Yeah. I mean, it was constant. And you're so correct. The inventory, supplies, ordering, it's more than just being a chef. Right. Even though I wasn't a chef, but it was much more than that. So let's talk a little bit more AltCap. AltCap services 10 states, focused here in Missouri because the corporate headquarters are in Kansas City, and I shouldn't say focused, but one of their main areas of focus. Most importantly, you have Ms. Tasha Pettis as a support manager, business support manager for this particular area, and of course more areas. And you can sit down with her and one member of her team to really understand what one needs in order to be successful with AltCap. And I'm sure that once you become a borrower or customer or client with AltCap, that you can then come back again and again and again.
Yeah. The idea is to eventually get people bank ready.
Okay.
But in some industries, you're never going to, because certain banks have high risk industries that they try not to lend to. And
well, let's talk about it, because some of them not going to lend a disadvantaged community. Might be the business might be tremendously successful, but it might be, quote, considered the disadvantaged area that they're not, that particular bank just doesn't do business. I mean, that's not unheard of.
It's not. And so our goal at AltCap is to touch those markets.
Right.
touch them in two ways, not just the loan capital, but how are we helping your business grow? You know, that's a key piece is this loan going to help your business grow? You know, is this loan going to help you get out of the rut that you may have been in, and then you show a sustainable model of growth? So really getting to understand that. And so we touch on several different ways. We touch people in one-on-one business consulting, so the loan readiness quiz you mentioned. They go online, they take that quiz, they will go directly to somebody on my team.
Okay.
And that person would either say, you're ready, or that person say, you're not ready. And that person say, here's some referrals, here's an initial conversation we're going to have with you. We're going to give you some recommendations. We're going to tell you that this can take 3 months, 6 months, a year, to put it realistically in your mindset. You could say, okay, I got a lot of work to do within the next 6 months. Or, oh, I only need 2 or 3 things to do. You get those 2 or 3 things knocked off. Like one of my business advisors just met with someone 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
She gave them 2 specific things to do. They came back with those 2 things. She sent them the loan application link because they were now ready. So it really depends on your ability to get yourself ready with the tools and resources that's given to you, and your willingness to, you know.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we do, I told you your credit score, we look for a 600. If your credit score is below 600, we have someone we partner you with to help you get that score above 600.
Okay.
We pay for it. You don't have to pay for it. Yep, we pay for it. We pay for that resource. So just we're trying to build that space where we're getting more quality deals. And if it's not quality up front, how do we spend time with that business owner and help them get to where they need to be?
So much like the Consumer Council of Missouri, you serve and provide services and our programs and education and advocate for the underserved community.
Yes.
Particularly when it comes to business practices, lending, to meet their needs, growth, and opportunities for continued growth.
Yep. And I'm not the only one of me on the team.
Okay, yeah, I
know?
would think so. Not
Yeah,
10 states.
yes.
If you can handle 10 states, I'll
Right.
give me some of your freaking flyer miles.
We have
Huh?
we have a team of qualified folks who
Yeah.
have the same level of passion about it, and we have some people of color on our team.
Well, I think the fact that
key roles.
the fact that it is available, the services are available, and the fact that its focus is not exclusively, but its focus is on the disadvantaged communities and those businesses working within those disadvantaged communities says a lot, and it speaks volumes, because many times, whether it's individual, whether it's businesses, etc., is underserved. And I think that as we work to develop or continue to develop underserved communities and areas, that there'll be more business opportunities to come its way.
That's right.
Because not just people or houses make a community. It's much more than that. Yeah.
Oh yes.
It's much more than just houses.
Absolutely.
So if someone wants to pursue the opportunity, if nothing other than a discussion, where do they go?
AltCap.org is the website.
AltCap.org. That's ALT capital CAP .org.
O-R-G, yes. Yep.
And remember, AltCap is a community development
Financial Institute.
financial institution, CDFI. CDFI, incorporated in 2015.
Yes.
And it's available. It's works in disadvantaged communities, but not exclusively, but primarily disadvantaged communities for disadvantaged businesses to help them build their business. And like I said before, just like the Consumer Council of Missouri, with the objective to kind of level the playing field.
That's right.
Is what we do, is level the playing field for the underserved community and or those who have financial struggles.
That's right.
Okay, fantastic.
And I can give you my direct phone number within the organization is 314-384-2620.
You hear that? That's her direct number. Can you repeat that one more time? Direct number.
314-384-2620.
Wow.
And if
that's-
you rather to reach out via email, it's tpettis, which is TPETTIS at altcap.org.
Fantastic.
Yep.
So now not only have the information for AltCap, but you also have Tanya Pettis' direct information, manager for support services for AltCap. AltCap is a viable business, and I think that many people who are in business, considering opening a business, or if you know someone who is considering opening a business, operating a business, make sure they're familiar with this term, AltCap, because it's a term I wasn't familiar with. I'd reached out to Tanya myself because if I knew about, as I said before, her stellar career in the financial services market for, she says 30 years. I didn't think it was that long. She doesn't look old enough. But for 20 years, and I can tell you without question that she will work with you and her team will work with you to ensure that you get the best information possible to help, hopefully help grow your business.
That's right.
With that, Ms. Pettis, I want to say thank you.
Thank you for having me.
I hope to see you on the golf course sometime.
That's right. Sounds like a plan.
So with that, we want to conclude this episode of Consumer Thursdays. Stay tuned. We got some upcoming episodes with the Alzheimer's Association, Tower Grove, CDC, and a number of other organizations in the near future. With that, we'll close for today. Say thank you. And Consumer Thursdays is out.
All right. Thank you.